Well done. Sure you earned it as well.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Robert McLaughlin. I'm head of quality for South Eastern Regional College. The ILT Pedagogy Mentoring Programme in the college has been in development for about 4 years now. It initially started with my colleague here, Paula Philpott, having a small internal project, and it's developed through those years to actually respond to some of the issues that have been arisen from what the staff love as the self-evaluation reports. In other words, updating of the pedagogy skills, lack of ILT skills within course teams and so forth. So in order to respond to that, the college decided, let's put something together within the college to respond and to support the lecturing staff. The ILT pedagogy mentoring only is successful in the college because of 3 things. And that is college investment. I was going back to what you were saying, Malik. And that is, we have to be aware of the value for money and the actual outcomes for anything that we put or the public person into development within the college. We have this year 10 ILT pedagogy mentors. Each of them get 9 hours remission with a total investment of over £200,000. Now, in order to, their responsibility is to then have a target of approximately 18 mentees each. So currently we have nearly 350 staff who have gone through the actual mentoring process. And that is a 21-hour programme that gives them continuous mentoring with reference to the pedagogy and the introduction of ILT to enhance the learning experience within the classroom. The skilled mentors, this was a recruitment process. This wasn't just people being picked from the specific campuses to say, oh, well, you can turn around and join this. They all had to do an interview, and they all had to present to the senior management team and show us their pedagogy and or their ILT skills. What we didn't want was this to be seen as an ILT champions or mentoring program. We insisted that pedagogy was at the heart of it, and that the enhancement was through ILT to change the experience of the students, to make it more fun within the classroom, to get more engagement, encouragement and participation. Staff buy-in. Currently, we very rarely get any member of staff refusing to take up the mentoring programme. And if they do, it's usually because of the other commitments, and they'll reschedule at a different date. So at the moment, 360 full and part-time staff have gone through it, and a lot of them want to come back onto the programme. Because as you know yourself, staff ability levels with reference to the ILT are so varied. So what is good for one staff is not maybe necessarily a good challenge for another member of staff. Paul?
Okay, whenever we first looked at the project, we wanted to really come at it from, there's just some research, but basically it's saying that, we all have been in those staff development sessions where they said it's a great technology, it's fantastic, let's use this, and you think, yeah, but my plumber's lovely, maybe this, or how does it look in my classroom? Or, I've got a great set of hairdressers, but I can't see how it will work for them. And so the heart of the ILT pedagogy mentoring is the fact that we're all subject teachers. I teach maths, essential skills, and GCSE at A level. And all of us come from various backgrounds. And so at heart, we're passionate teachers. We love teaching. And we have reasonably good technical skills, and we're just trying to bring that into the classroom. And so you'll see how we do that then is really through, we're trying to take teachers, yourself, I've been to classes sessions and I thought, oh, that's a great idea, but how do I get what I've been told from what I've seen into what I actually practice in the classroom? And it's embedded, I'm doing it day by day by day. And that's really where the mentoring came in. We want to try to leap that chasm that we have for staff. And so it's a 6-stage process. The first stage really, we look at assessing tutors where they're at. Thankfully now, 4 years down, we don't have to do as much assessment. We know our staff a lot better, but we go in and we say, right, okay, what are you using currently? What sort of technology are you using in and out of the classroom, and then trying to base some targets around that. And we set targets for the staff based not only on technologies, but also on teaching and learning strategies. So we look at the teaching and learning strategies that they're using in the class, and we try and broaden that. And so in order to do that, the first thing we do is we go out and teach their class for them. So if I was mentoring, Audrey or one of you, I would go out and say, right, okay, what lesson are you teaching next Tuesday? Would you trust me with your learners and let me come out and teach your class for you? And I don't pretend to be perfect, but we want to work together as peers to try and enhance teaching and learning within Southeastern Regional College. Usually that's where we get the buy-in. Any staff we've had who've been reticent, they tend to go, either they have great technical skill and they think, technology-wise I'm fantastic, but they don't realise that maybe I could bring something in terms of teaching and learning into the classroom, or they have great teaching skills, but actually technology-wise they need more help and support. So usually the demo lesson is great because we ask the students to give feedback, written feedback to the tutor at the end, and the tutor has to fill in an observation form on me teaching. And so they get to see that it's not a threatening process, I'm there, I'm quite happy to accept the positives and the negatives and how we can build these things into improving the learning experience. Often students say, oh, I wish it was like this all the time, could we not do this more often? And that creates the buzz and the enthusiasm to buy in for staff. So they obviously then do a post-observation reflection to sit down with the children and say, okay, what do you think went well? What didn't go well? What could I improve on? And then let's try and work at that together. And usually that's where maybe I've set an initial target, and then they go, oh, I saw you doing that, that was great, could we do that as well, and could we do this and this and this? And we were laughing about it just ago when I started, maybe 1 or 2 technologies I looked at. This year, I've been working 4, 5, 6 technologies with every teacher. They've come to me and said, we need a class that allow me to do asynchronous learning, and I'm like, where did they get this language in 4 years? It's been amazing just to see the development. So I do 2 hours of training at that stage with them based on the targets that have been set. Then we team teach together, so we sit down, we plan a lesson together, we schedule it all out, so we've got it all structured and ready to go, and then we teach it together and we decide who does what bits. And then we have another training session of 2 hours, and then final training session, and then I observe them teach. And that's their opportunity to say, this is where I've moved from, this is where I was, this is where I'm at now. And it's about a supportive process. The tutors can't, I really wish I could have brought tutors here today, but everybody's teaching and it's just the way it is. But you'll see some of them interviewed at the end, and they just love it. And as I say, 4 years ago we had a little bit of resistance, having somebody out in the classroom, what would that be like? But now, we had one person this year who wouldn't do the final observation. I thought, why? She's really engaged with the process, why would she not? And she said, because once I do that final observation, you'll go away. And I said, that's okay, we'll run another, even a back-to-back mentoring, you can do it twice this year rather than once. So, and then we follow that up, which is what we're doing currently with a lot of staff, is post-mentoring interview. What are they using now? With technology to train on, are they using it currently in the classroom? How are they using it? And how can we support you as you move forward? So often you find the tutors have been through it, just want to come, it's just a rolling process, they want to come back on again. So absolutely, it's just such a privilege to be part of the team that I have. 10 of us who just love what we do. We're passionate teachers, just love what we do. So in terms of it then, really, we realised that ILT is part of a wider pedagogical toolkit. If we all played the flute, sounds lovely initially, but after a while you tire of the sound of it. So we're trying to tell teachers, that yes, technology is fantastic, it's part of a wider pedagogical toolkit, and that's why we want to look at the teaching and learning strategies associated with the technologies, and the ways in which we can engage the learners. So it is part of a blended approach. The technology really is driven by effective pedagogy, and that was really at the outset of how we appointed staff onto the mentoring programme. We wanted people who were great teachers, good teachers. We could improve their technical skills if we needed to, but we wanted them at heart to be inspirational in the way that they taught. And we wanted to increase student engagement, and the feedback from some students are just really, it's just lovely to see, and it was more fun, more engaging, I learnt more, and you'll hear a little bit about that at the end. So really want to support a wider range of teaching and learning strategies, and we want the technology to be integrated and not peripheral to the learning activity. Sometimes teachers would use the technology and it's very much this is the part of the lesson, but we wanted it to run seamlessly throughout their teaching programme and become more embedded, and I think that certainly has been evident. So in terms of pedagogy skills, a lot of things we've been looking at with teachers in terms of raising the range of teaching and learning strategies that they have in the classroom, trying to bring technology in. If they're a teacher who very much likes to be at the front, telling them that this whole next lesson you cannot be at the front of the room. So whatever you use, whatever you do, you're not allowed up here. Okay, so you're trying to make them, change the way in which they teach or the way in which they assess. This year we've had a real emphasis on computer marked assessment to try and reduce the workload for teachers as well. So we've been trying to drive that forward. And as I say, I've got Stuart here looking resplendent. So the demonstration lessons, as I say, are key to that. And it's the fact that teachers get to see a colleague within their school. So each of us are attached to a school or department, kind of what way you call it. But I'm in the School of Skills for Life, Hair and Beauty, and so I teach and mentor within my school. So my team know me, they know that I'm not just an ordinary member of staff, and because of that, they're happy to let me come into their classes and teach their classes for them. And really, it's differentiated instruction. Unlike other staff development programs, we very much, it's bespoke around the tutor. So it's me having that conversation with you, talking to find out what you use, where you're at, and where you'd like to be. So how can we push you forward in terms of what you're doing in the classroom? It's relevant to the school. So, if I'm working with hairdressers, what exactly will work? What are the areas of concern within hairdressing that technology could help address, and how can I improve the teaching and learning there? Demonstration lesson, as I said earlier, helps this teachers see the technology in the context of a lesson. So unlike staff development, where you watch it and somebody delivers it, it all looks great. You actually see, how did I start the lesson? How did I move into that part of the lesson where I use that technology? What did I use it for? Was it part of assessment for learning, assessment of learning? What was the context? It's pedagogically driven. It's an opportunity we can have opportunity to modify the targets at each stage. So for instance, maybe a teacher comes in and they are quite reticent, quite nervous of technology, and then they slowly start to build, and that's really lovely to see that light bulb moment where they go, oh great, would you have technology that would be able to do this for me? And then they start to see and use that, so that's great. And we can, at each step, we change what we're doing with them if need be. And just really the tutor adoption, you'll hear a little bit of them saying that later. And an opportunity really for the staff to reflect on teaching and learning. How many times, if you're a teacher, do you get a chance to come together with your colleagues and sit down and chat and say, this is how my teaching's at. I want to improve. How could I improve? What could I do? And that's really what the mentoring does. It's a confidential process between us and the mentor, and although we keep records on what we do, it's kept in-house, and they know that whatever's said between us, is kept that way, so that it's really just about trying to improve things within our team. Robert's going
to... As I said earlier, we have 10 members of the ILT pedagogy team this year. Last year we had 15. Today we've got Stuart and Heather with us. Paul is the driver and the person, as you can see, with the passion behind it. And on a day-to-day basis, she will turn around and track and progress how things are going. I'm more of the management face of it and bring it to CMT and SMT to promote and ensure that it is maintained. As Paul has said, all of these staff have been selected, and we try to select them specifically for each school. There's been a couple of schools we haven't been able to get a good ILT pedagogy mentor from, but because of the reputation that it now has, the staff don't seem to mind who they get now, because they know they're getting the same quality of relationship and actual support from the mentors. The mentoring process itself roughly takes anywhere between 21 hours to whatever the staff are able to provide, and the mentors are there at the end of the phone, at the end of Microsoft Link, to provide online support at any point in time. And the staff know that and come back, as Paula said, come back for more on a regular basis. So therefore we have Paula there, who's the ILT Pedagogy Mentors Coordinator, as well as actually delivering on the programme itself as well. Stuart Nelson, he's specific to construction and engineering, but it's also specific to training for success, which is a kind of a little niche in its own right, and there's certain aspects of that Stuart has brought in some good quality changes within inside the actual classroom, and bringing it in even into the workshops as well. Then we have Campbell Miller, mostly for media, construction, Stuart is more for the higher education and FE side of construction, and then Kenny Madole, computing and software engineering, but also for the essential skills ICT staff. And we have Heather, who's with us today, with Trevor from engineering, and we have Antoine Rivard from performing arts, which is from the music side. And then finally we have also Eddie Conlon from the Skills for Life for essential skills. Part of the tracking process is to ensure that we are able to see what staff are actually doing. In other words, the mentoring staff are doing with the mentees. So therefore this process has been broken down and tracked at every stage. So all the mentors will turn around and put into the tracking system how many mentees that they have at stage 1, which is the training session 1, how many have they got going through to stage 2 and so forth. I mean, this is only taken off the system within the last week or so. So this year we have 91 mentees already through. So they've gone through a 21-hour process plus, and some of them are already back online. And during that process they have had this one-to-one mentoring. Now earlier on we heard about the TLD, and what we'll be looking to do is match and align that to the TLD so that anybody comes on the mentoring programme will already be matching up some of those competences that they require for the TLD inherently, and then that will make it easier for them to actually provide a portfolio for that. As you can see here, all aspects of it are going through with reference to training, demonstration, training session 1 and so forth, and I bring this to CMT and I'm able to show the progress of all of that, rather than waiting to the end of the specific session to say that we've got 50 staff through. You can see that actual progress all along the way. And the staff schedule with the actual mentees appropriate slots in their timetable in order to turn around and accommodate all aspects of the actual framework. Paula, you just want to...
Yeah, so really just this bit just talks about what we do with each mentee. I've obviously tried to keep names out because it is a confidential process, but obviously this is one of mine. But they, you know, they were from business, hospitality and tourism. They're predominantly teaching an FE programme. They're on Patrick campus and where I've gone with them. The technologies I've used and the associated teaching and learning strategies that I've tried to embed when I've been working with that member of staff. So that's the level of detail that we're working at with each colleague, and it means then that each year we can go back and revisit and say, right, okay, Heather might have taken a particular colleague last year, but I can see what she did with them, what teaching and learning strategies trying to embed as she taught them, and then obviously we can roll that out. This is just a slide, hopefully it's going to start. Oh, can I go back? I just wanted to give you a sort of example of the technologies used, because I know that if I was coming to the event I would be thinking, what sort of things are they doing with their staff? And you'll see we use net support to try and manage the computers in the classroom. A lot of things are quite traditional that you might have seen before, and then gradually interactive classrooms, trying to put some polling software, Prezi you saw earlier. We've got voice threads to try and look at some collaborative technologies. It's just a small range. You know, this year we sent out the survey, and the list just keeps growing and growing. You know, they have to identify what technologies they're trained on and which ones they're currently using. So again, some computer marked assessment work, some audience response systems, and you know, Windows Movie Maker, iMovie, so we're trying to make sure we don't leave out the Mac users in the college, that we're trying to provide opportunities for them, you know, looking at video evidence for portfolio and how tutors can manage that, looking at computer marked assessment through Moodle, which is our VLE, interactive whiteboards, have so many different types. If you're on quite a large college, you've got so many different types, just trying to make sure staff can use it. Google Docs, collaborative learning in that way, wikis, forums, discussion groups, blogs, that sort of thing coming more and more to the fore with staff now coming onto the programme. And Edmodo, educational version of textbooks, a lot more restrictions and security settings, so it allows you to do more. My Brain Shark allows you to create different teaching and learning strategies for online learning. eBeam allows you to have a portable interactive whiteboard. You can take it out to your out centres, community settings, that sort of thing. So those are just some of the types of things that we've been using with staff. Often staff will say, would you send me a list of things that I could do? And you're thinking, no, there's too many.
Some of the feedback from staff, you know, very beneficial, added to the quality of the teaching and learning. And that's what the impact we want. You know, I mean, it has to be, it changes the environment within inside the classroom. Going back to some of the technologies there, some of the simplest things can have the biggest impact. And one of the last slides was a wireless keyboard. And one of the lecturers, it was in the lesson observation last week, and the lecturer had a word, a crossword up on the interactive whiteboard. All the students were coming up and putting in. One student didn't want to get up. He refused to get up. So the lecturer pulled out the wireless keyboard and said, okay, you sit there and do it from there. And then it became part of the actual project. So I mean, even the simplest things. Somebody said about earlier on in the fact that the focus shouldn't be on ILT. And years ago, there was a certain aspect of ILT that took away from teaching. That if we throw computers into a room, that's good. And you had this sense of, this is my desk at the front. I'm sitting behind this, and I'm going to do a 24-page or slide PowerPoint presentation. And one of the simplest things that gets the teacher from the front into the class is a remote presenter. All the mentees who went through the program, we bought them a remote presenter and some others with wireless keyboards, so they can bring them back to their departments and their units and actually use them and elaborate on them. The second one here is new technology, how to apply it in the classroom. Also shows that students enjoy and benefit from more diverse learning. And it's lovely when you hear words like enjoy, students are having fun. You know, and it's going back to having a bit of fun in the class, but structured within inside the learning pedagogy and also with been associated and enhanced by the ILT.
These are all part of the feedback forms that they fill in when they observe. Either observe the demo lesson or team teach with me or the final observation. So it's just the feedback that they give at that stage.
Enjoy the variety of teaching methods. Give a different slant to my usual teaching. Be able to look at students on how they relate to different learning strategies. So the teacher is able to evaluate what is the best use of the ILT to assess learning. So therefore they're actually able to reflect on what's happening in the classroom. Yes, it has allowed me to see where the class needs development and find new ways of learning. Added value. As I said there's a huge investment inside the ILT pedagogy mentoring team. Staff development. The team are also involved in specific staff development. Because of the time they spend with the mentees, what they're also picking up is themes coming back as to what the staff want with reference to staff development. And they would actually prepare and deliver on staff development 3 times a year. Preparation for college inspections. There again, the ILT pedagogy mentors will provide workshops, quick wins that people who are a wee bit nervous or lack confidence in the classroom can go to a workshop and find things that they can put into their class, into the lessons, a wee bit, quick wins that they can do for the inspectors coming in. Subject specialists identifying appropriate cost-effective technologies, as Paul was saying, and we try to keep them within inside the vocational areas and subject-specific areas. Optimizing use of current technologies. Moodle rollout, well, it's more Moodle restructuring, and we decided to restructure the Moodle VLE with reference to its format. So all courses have a specific format now. Obviously, the staff skill sets in order to do that for such a wide variety. So the ILT pedagogy mentors had a series of workshops every Friday afternoon to support the staff in that changeover. And so therefore, when we try to make changes within inside the ILT within the college, then they know that the ILT mentoring team are there to support them as well. Monthly workshops based on staff surveys. So if something comes out of a monthly workshop, if something comes out of the staff, either talking to the mentees or through surveys, then we will put on a workshop to respond to that. Such as, for argument's sake, the different types of interactive whiteboards. How do you use them? So staff will turn around and get a workshop and be able to come along to that. Or if it's an HE and they want to use Turnitin, the plagiarism software, then we'll put on workshops and the ILT pedagogy mentors will deliver that. Students appreciate being able to give feedback to their tutor. Very quick calculation. We have 10 mentors. Each mentor has a target of 15 mentees, so we've got 115 mentees go through the year. But inside those 115 mentees, there are 3 classes that are being used in order to deliver the mentee program. So we're talking about 15,000 students who are being given the opportunity to see the variety of changes that are going on with it. Never mind the lecture going back in and then rolling it out through the rest of their timetable. Some of the downsides, or not so much the downside, there is no downsides. Some of the things to be aware of. Change it very quickly. Some of the things to be aware of is, because of the success of the ILT pedagogy map, the staff get very frustrated if the technology has been delivered that they can't get access to it. Such as we looked at, or I think it was Quizdom there. Quizdom is a Pacific kit. So if you don't have enough Quizdom kits and they want to use it, they'll get frustrated if they can't get access to it. So therefore, as you get it more and more embedded, then there needs to be further investment in the technologies in order to provide the staff with that facility and availability.
I just wanted to talk briefly about the TLD. Currently we have 10 teachers, all the mentors are on the TLD programme, and with our 60% through, just finished marking the last of the assignments last night, last of that set of assignments last night. So that's 60% through, and we should hopefully finish that by June. Really, it's just such a privilege to work with the mentoring team. They're such a great group of individuals. And the fact that now we can take the TLD and take what we do in the ILT pedagogy mentoring and marry the two and help staff to evidence the material that they'll need in order to develop through gaining the qualification. I really just wanted to finish by letting the mentees, oh, we've missed the video out. Nope. The slide with the video, did it work okay earlier? No, no video. I wanted to finish by letting the mentees have the last word, so unfortunately you're not going to get to see that. But basically it's just them saying, what we did, the first year we did it because we had a little bit of reticence from staff about peer observation and that side of it. We asked mentees who'd been through the programme to be interviewed and to share their experiences, and then we put it on the VLE and asked anybody who'd been asked, because initially staff were identified to come onto the ILT pedagogy mentoring, and when we asked them to watch the video first before they spoke to their mentor, and they were really good because they explained things like, they just loved it, and they put it across more passionately, I suppose, than maybe I can, because I'm a bit close to it. But I hope that you see something there that you can take into your college, and I hope that college management and other colleges see the potential of what we can do. And certainly, from the QAA and ETI post-college feedback last year, it was fantastic to see the impact that they observed when they went out to see what was happening in the classrooms. That was it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.